So it's interesting the timing, Norman, in terms of coming out the back end of the pandemic, all the great learns we've taken when it comes to sort of people, culture, and engagement. We're looking forward to the future. There's some real context there in terms of all this sort of pent up ambition. I'm sure we're seeing this across the globe, but Malaysia's certainly got its agenda with the My Digital initiative, establishing the DNA for digital growth between now and 2025. I think it's 500,000 jobs looking to be created, 7 billion ringgit in investment, all great things, but it takes more than just projections and investment to make it work. People are central to that. This is about people do software, people build digital platforms. So be really interested in your perspective. You've had 2 years here, you've seen a lot in that 2-year time frame. Be great to sort of get a view on your views on what do you think are the prospects for Malaysia given that initiative.
And I think you actually you made probably my point in what you just said there, that people are absolutely central to all of this. I think that any business only actually exists to serve people in some form or capacity, and any business needs people to be successful in anything that it does. So I think Malaysia has got enormous potential. I mean, the 2 years that I've been here, some of the things I've picked up on are that it is a real cultural melting pot. That when we talk about diversity and inclusion being important in the things that we build, there's a broad spectrum of diversity and thinking styles, backgrounds in Malaysia. So I think that in terms of having great people to do all this work, it's got enormous potential.
So raw materials are there.
Absolutely. The raw ingredients are there. I think the areas that people are going to find challenging are how do you find and get those raw materials and then turn them into something that's really going to help you succeed. And I think that areas that we definitely need to improve on, there's still a lot of traditional thinking around how you might do that, just throwing out a job ad, screening a few people, putting them through like a little process. I think it's a much more involved process that you have to go through now. Yes, absolutely.
So I guess based on your experience over the last 2 years, you'll be looking to implement those, moving forwards as contributing to that bigger cause.
Absolutely. I mean, I am hugely passionate about people and their development, and finding great people, bringing them into the organization, giving them meaningful work that they can be passionate about. And I think that in my experience, or the 2 years I've been here, we've just found so many people that sort of meet that criteria.
I mean, for businesses that are about to embark on aggressive hiring plans, I mean, we see there's a lot of investment money here, whether it's venture capitalism, private investment, or we're seeing traditional businesses moving from bricks and mortar business models to digital. If you had any guidance in terms of getting the people aspect right, as we've just said, it takes more than investment and grand plans and an awesome project plan to make it happen. What sort of advice would you have for people, for businesses to get those things right around their people?
I mean, I would.
If they're going to hire over 100 people, as a lot of businesses seem to be.
This is it. Everyone keeps talking about, we need to hire 100, 200, whatever it is.
How much of it is actually happening?
And I think that really businesses have to broaden their view about what talent is and where to find it. There's a very narrow view of if you want to hire a programmer, you need somebody with a computer science degree that has possibly this amount of experience. When the reality is, there's lots of really capable people out there that might come from a non-conventional path or background, and are equally capable of being a great contributor to what you're trying to build. So if you only have these narrow historic views of how you identify and bring talent in, you're actually narrowing yourself to a very small set of people. And you might artificially give yourself the idea that there's not available talent in the market, which I don't believe is true.
So for experienced hires, looking at transferable skill sets is a key thing. Looking at the screening side, the insistence on data points could be perceived to be restrictive, but it actually opens up your talent pool. Because you're getting past the sort of bias associated with someone's job title or where they've worked, right?
So we try and take as much of that out as possible. It's basically, we have our sort of steps that we think about, And you might be a 2-year comp sci graduate. You can go through that process. You might be a return to work mother who used to program 5 years ago. You can go through that process. We will look at everyone based on merit and work out where the strengths are, where the development areas are. And I guess part of it is you have to acknowledge that everyone's going to have some sort of development that needs to be worked on. That's where you then have to think of supporting systems to make sure that you have leaders in your organization that can support and develop all those individuals regardless of where they come from.
Extrapolating that idea, are you in favor of CV-less hiring experiences? Taking that out of it, or?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share this, but we actually don't index heavily on the resume. The resume is more just, here's a name, some cursory data, but that's fine. We'll actually test them in this sort of.
So it's actually ancillary to the actual assessment process.
It doesn't carry as much weight as people might think.
I see. Okay. And have you seen some, let's say, for want of a better phrase, interesting or surprising outcomes where people that might not have typically been hired have actually made it through the process and they've actually gone on to be successful within your business?
Oh, absolutely. We have concrete cases of candidates, and we know this because they hired for us. They interviewed with us a couple of years previously, and we knocked them out at an early stage when we did a different approach. They've recently re-interviewed with us, and they went through the full range, and that data point was probably similar to how it was a couple of years ago. But we found out all this extra information that leads us to believe that would be a great candidate to invest in and grow.
Absolutely. So putting that in context, if Malaysia's going to hire appoint 500,000 people, really broadening the net and making the most of the raw, talented resources out there is going to be absolutely critical.
I think it's kind of, there's probably two prongs to it. There's making the appropriate investment in the leadership and management of these groups to make sure that they have the capability to A, identify, and B, grow when it comes in. So you need to invest well there. And then like we said, broadening up what we think or changing our conventions of how we think about where the talent might be. Well,
you've got to hire and keep them as well, because because churn or turnover is one of the biggest leakages in any organization, and it's very expensive and distracting, of course.
And there's a lot of reasons why that can happen. You can see quite high churn rates, but guaranteed, if you are bringing people into your organization and you're not developing them and you're not paying care and attention to what they want and need, they're definitely going to leave.
Well, it's going to solve the problem. You hire them, you give people a chance, you develop them, that breeds loyalty.
So I had a very good friend that works in Australia, and I love the way he put it, where he said that when you interview or bring somebody into an organization, you're actually making them a promise about what their career is going to be with you. And you can't just pay lip service to that. You have to, how am I maintaining that promise? How am I delivering on that promise? So I think that's a really nice way to think about it, is you're asking somebody to leave something they're familiar with and come join you. What promise are you making to them, and then what systems are you putting in place to make sure you deliver on that? That's
a fantastic example. Look, Norman, I also think that's a great way to close our discussion today.
Sure.
So thank you so much for joining us and sharing those insights with us.
No worries.
On workforce management in a post-COVID environment.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
At all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.